Fontaine is Genshin Impact's highly weighted and anticipated 5th region we'll be able to explore in the next 4.0 patch update. Despite their technological advancements and being the heart of culture and arts within Teyvat, Fontaine has been almost an entire mystery to Genshin players until the last year or so. With new environments, bosses, and characters, I'll be guiding you along on how to best prepare for patch 4.0 and stepping foot into Fontaine for the first time. My first step when preparing for a completely new patch and region within Genshin is to reflect on mistakes I made in the previous patches or things that I know work. As someone who's been playing Genshin Impact since launch in 2020, it's pretty easy either to get burnt out during slow updates or accidentally spend hours on my daily routine. Taking a bit of time to reflect on my personal gameplay at the start of the last few patches is a good way for me to reprioritize the things I should actually be focused on and farming for the next area to explore. New characters are, in my opinion, the most exciting thing about new regions. New playstyles, designs, and personalities draw me in instantly, so much so that sometimes I forget to actually pre-farm for the characters I want to pull for. When a new region is released, that means we'll be getting new artifact sets as well. Because of this, rather than focusing all my time on trying to find the perfect goblet, circlet, or sands for the character I want the most, I actually prefer to farm ley lines, especially if my stash of XP books and more seem a little sparse.
Broke people should never laugh!
For reference, you need roughly 418 purple books and a whopping 2 million mora to fully max out a character from level 1 to level 90, as well as just over 600 mystic enhancement ores and roughly 800,000 mora to max out weapons. Multiply that by however many new characters you plan on maxing out when Fontaine releases, and you might as well head over to the Northland Bank to ask for a loan.
Oh shit, here we go again.
If you're a Serenitea Pot gamer like myself, you'll also want to remember to collect and save your realm currency. As with every patch, we get tons of new furniture, plants, rocks, decorations, etc., and to get the blueprints for all of them costs quite a pretty penny. Make sure to stock up on portable waypoints and get the red feather fan if you haven't already. They're incredibly useful when wind gliding or marking a spot you'll know you want to return to later, but it's a bit of a hassle to get to. You can get the red feather fan by reaching level 5 reputation in Inazuma, which brings me to my next tip. Reputation can be a bit of a pain to farm, but if you'd like a guide on how to do that, leave a comment down below.
I'm nodding like I understand, but I'm not so sure I do.
One thing that I always have to remind myself to do is to save my bounties and requests during the week that the patch is released, until I can get it unlocked within that new region. You only get a set amount of requests and bounties that you're able to do per week, so it's important to save them for the region you're actually trying to work on your reputation with. Exploration is hands down my favorite gameplay aspect of Genshin Impact, aside from looking at the pretty characters, but what's better than looking at pretty characters and pretty locations? One thing I always do is use the Genshin Impact Interactive Map to keep track of all the region's oculi I've collected. With every region released, the number of oculi increases, and I'm sure Fontaine will be no different. For reference, within Sumeru there were 271 Digiroculus, and I have no doubt Fontaine will be within 300s. Granted, Hoyoverse doesn't give us all oculi at once, and instead it spaces out the maximum that we can collect between patches, and therefore spaces out how far we can level up our Archon statues. But even then, it'd be near impossible to mark them all in your map manually, especially since we're only able to mark 150 symbols on our map at one time. The Teyvat Interactive Map isn't just more convenient for keeping track of the oculi you've collected, but you're also able to view where every single chest, flower, monster, item, waypoint, etc. is. And depending on how recently it's been added to the map, other players will often add screenshots or videos of where exactly these items are and how to get them. Teamwork makes the dream work, you know?
Hey, just working hard so I can please you.
It's also worth it to start farming and saving your weapon billets. They're already a pain to farm as it is, but with every new region, we'll be able to get new craftable weapons. There could always be a chance that, similar to Sumeru, Fontaine will have their own exclusive weapon billets, but it's good to stock up regardless. Weapon billets can be converted from one to the other, so you won't be missing out at all. Weapon billets are exclusively dropped from weekly bosses, and you'll only be able to do 3 per week, so it's a good idea to get started on if you haven't already. As usual, it'll be a good idea to stock up on Crystalflies and fragile resin as well, because we'll be getting new artifact weapon material and talent book domains in 4.0, and I have no doubt you'll want to farm those as soon as they're released. It'll be much easier to do so when you actually have the resin to claim rewards and artifacts from these domains. Saving up Masterless Stardust and Masterless Starglitter would be smart as well. I can't count on one hand how often I ran out of monster drops when leveling my Sumeru characters once 3.0 dropped, and I was limited to the regions that I could travel to and enemies I could defeat. We might have a similar situation in Fontaine where drop rates might suck, or there are conditionals to what items drop when you defeat an enemy depending on what element you used. As usual, you want to stock up on Primogems as well if you haven't already. As always, with the release of a new region, that means not only new characters, but a new Archon as well. Last but not least, the single most important thing to do when preparing for a new patch and region within Genshin Impact is to have fun and pace yourself. I know in our day and age we want to speedrun quests or binge the game, but that's how we get burnt out. I've been this way probably since Genshin first started, and it's affected how much I enjoy the game and even sometimes the community. But with the last few Genshin patches, I decided to really take my time, go at my own pace, and found the game so much more enjoyable without the stress of feeling like I needed to be one of the first people to complete all of the content that was just given to us. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, but that's okay. What matters most is that you're having fun. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more of these types of videos. I stream pretty regularly on Twitch as well, so if you'd like to catch more of me, that's the place to do it. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I wish you safe travels through Teyvat.